So in this video, you're going to learn how to create an RC water tank using Revit MEP. So the first thing you need to do is to open one of the files, this pre-made file which holds the architectural file. So to do that, go into Models, Cold Water, Design Model, and you can see tutorial sample with cold water design, and just drag that into your Revit software. After the file opens, let's just save the file to a new file by going to Save As, Project, and save this as 01. Delete and save. After you have done so, we are ready to start modeling. But before we model, we're going to create the first sheet view where the view will hold all the information of the view. So what you're going to do first is that you're going to right click on these sheets, click on new sheet, click on that, okay. This will create a new title block, and you can rename it by clicking on this view here and pressing F2. From that, we can name it CW05 and the view name to be water tank detail. Click OK. Next, we are going to create a callout view of the tank area, a section, and an isometric view. So the first thing you do is to go to level 1, and when you're here, go to View, click on Callout, and click once on the top left and another time on the bottom right, like this. Secondly, we're going to draw a section view where it will hold the information of the front of the tank. So to draw a section view, you can click on this shortcut at the top here, section, and you can then draw a view across like this, and click on this just to readjust the view range. After you have done so, go back to our sheet view, which is CW05, by double clicking it. Highlight this level 1 callout 1 and drag it to the sheet view like this, and click one more time to put it in. Then next, you can see that there are these 3 question marks here. Expand that and expand sections. This is where section 3, which we drew earlier, was created, and we're going to do the same thing. Drag it into this view. As you can see, the callout view is more or less on the correct size. However, the section view is not showing entirely what we want. So what we have to do is that you have to double click this view, and when you click on the borders, you can actually expand the view. So we want to be showing level 1 like this. However, the view is too small, so if you want to readjust the scale of the view, which is now 1 to 100, you can go to the top right and change it to 1 to 50, for example. Hence the view is bigger. So if we zoom back out, we can see that it's more in line with what this sheet size should be. So to deactivate the view and go back to the sheet view, you can double click anywhere outside the title block. So from there, we can actually readjust like this title by just simply dragging it to the bottom, click away, and then you can move the whole view to a better place. And I'm going to readjust this further up a bit. So if you zoom in now, you can see that the view names for the plan view and the front view are called level 1 callout 1 and section 3. If you want to rename these views, simply click one time on the view and then click on the name itself. From here I can rename it to something like ground floor plan view, and with the front view I will show you how to create the isometric view later once we have started modeling, but for now we can put in legend and the standard details, and these details can be found in this portion here called legends. So if you expand that and scroll down, you can see water tank RC legend. Simply drag that into our view and click it. And also water tank connection, drag that in as well and click to insert it. So for these two views we do not want the titles at the bottom, so simply click on this legend, click at the top and select no title. Repeat the same thing for the water tank connection details. Now we are ready to import the families required to model our RC tank pump room. So go back to the folder where our BIM tutorial files are. Access the library, and the first families which we're going to insert are in mechanical equipment. First one is pumps and pump and suction. Simply drag the family into your Revit software. And the next one we're going to do is tanks. Highlight RC left and right and drag it into Revit. And back to mechanical equipment, back again to library. Now we're going to insert the plane, which is in generic model, plane. Next, we're going to insert all the valves, which we can find in pipe accessories under valves. So the valves that we're going to need for this project are the butterfly valve lever, the check valve flanged, flexible rubber joint flanged, gate valve flanged, and the Y strainer flanged. So select all of them and drag it into your project. And finally, the last family would be your control panel, which you can find under electrical equipment, distribution board. So the first item that we're going to input will be the water tanks. So we need to activate this view. One way is to double click the view and you can modify it, or you can come down to the sheet, expand it and click on floor plan over here to open the view. So to put in the water tank, go up to systems, mechanical equipment, look for the water tank rectangular RC left, click on the default name and insert it in. Press escape twice to exit the input. Okay, when you highlight and click your tank, you can see properties of the tank on the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to change a few parameters for this tank here. The first one we're going to modify is this item, the suction pipe outlet diameter. So if you click on here and we're going to change it to 150. Move your mouse back to the screen to input what you have typed in. Next, we're going to change the height to 4,700 mm, the width to 3,000 mm. We're going to switch off our breaching inlet visibility and sprinkler return visibility. And finally, for our scour vertical offset, we're going to change it to 800. Okay, now that we have set all that for the tank, we want to move this tank to the very corner of the room. So click on the tank, use the move button at the top, zoom in, click on the top left corner of your tank, and click to the edge of the wall on the left. Repeat the same thing to move it to the top edge of the wall. Now we're going to repeat the same step for the right side of the tank. So now, instead of moving the tank using the move button, I'm going to use the align instead. So when you click on align, click on the wall which you want to align the tank to, in this case this wall, and click on the edge of the water tank family. Repeat the same for the top wall. So now we have our RC tanks on the right location and the correct size. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the pump planes in the room. So go to systems, and on the right side you can see component. Click on it. Click on this button here. Click on the search button and type plinth. You can see plinth is highlighted, and just simply click on the button at the bottom and we can put it in. Just put one plinth for now. Press escape twice. Click on the plinth, and let's change the width to be 1 meter. Length will remain at 2 meters, and the height we should reduce it to 100 mm. So now we want to make sure that the plinth is at least 3 meters from the tank. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a dimension from the edge of the tank to the plinth and see what is the measurement first. And you can insert a dimension from the top by clicking on aligned dimension. Click on the edge of the tank and then on the edge of the plinth, and click once more to input a dimension. Press escape twice. So now we can see that the plinth is 2300 mm from the tank wall. So if I click on the plinth and then I click on this dimension over here, I can actually input a dimension here to a desired length which I want. In this case I would like it to be 3 meters, so 3000, and press enter. So now we can see that the plane has moved 3 meters from the tank. I'm just going to delete this dimension for now. So we want 2 planes because there will be 2 pumps. So I'm just going to click on this plane, click on copy, click on one edge and move it to the right by 1600 mm. Oops. And press enter. You can readjust the two planes by using control click to select both of them, and you can move it. The shortcut key for moving is MV, so when you type MV, click on one point, and let's say I move it to the left by 200 mm, and I left click one more time to move the planes. Now next I'm going to put in the pumps. So the pumps can be found in systems, mechanical equipment, left click here, and you can see pump and suction, and I'm going to put in the first selection, which is this 21 liters per second at 112 meters head pump. Before you put the pump in, you can see that the pump is in the wrong direction. So if you want to rotate the pump easily, just press spacebar, press again, and just put it somewhere in the middle of the plane, and do the same thing for the other one. Press escape twice. So now when I select both of the pumps, I want to offset the pump by 100 meters upwards, 100 mm upwards, so that it is above the plane. Now finally, the last item that we need to put into the pump room would be the control panel. So the control panel can be found under systems, electrical equipment, and click on here again, and we're going to use a standard 3-phase distribution board. So if I'm going to zoom in here, before putting in the panel, I'm going to press space bar to make sure it's in the right direction, and left click to input the panel, and I'm going to press escape twice to exit. Click on the panel. We want to offset the panel upwards by 600 mm. Now we have all the main components in our pump room. So now we are ready to start modeling our pipes to connect the tank to the pumps and so forth. So the first set of pipes we're going to model is the incoming pipe into the tank. So to start this, make sure that you have the right pipe being used to model. To do this, click on pipe at the top and just model your first pipe anywhere to set the default current pipe. So on the top right, we're going to click here and we're going to select, scroll down, steel threaded flanged, and for the system type we are going to select domestic water pumping main, and we are just going to model a short piece of pipe by clicking once and clicking again. Press escape twice. So the settings which you have set earlier is going to be the default settings for the future pipes being modeled. So select it and just delete this pipe for now. So now first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the left RC tank detail. We're going to zoom in on the most left connection, and you can see this indicator here. Right click on that and select draw pipe. I'm going to zoom out, click once to input, and then draw a bend, click another time to input an elbow, and click another time up here to input another elbow to the perimeter of the building. Press escape twice. So we're going to do the same thing to the right RC tank by clicking on it, right click the connector and click on draw pipe, zoom out, and this time we're going to click in the middle of this pipe. Once you have done so, we have modeled our incoming pipe to the tank. Next, we are going to model the overflow pipe. So click on the left tank again and zoom in to make sure that you're selecting the outer indicator. Right click on it, again draw pipe, select connector 10, which is on 3900 offset, which is the overflow. The minus 800 would be the scour pipe, but we're going to select the overflow for now. Click OK, zoom out. We're going to select a welded type connection for this case. Select this again, zoom out, model the pipe approximately at 700 mm, and before we finish the modeling, we're going to change the offset to 0 and we're going to click apply. This will create an elbow downwards to where the sump pit is going to be. We will see from the 3D view later how is this. So we're going to repeat the same thing for the right side. Now next we are going to model the scour pipe. So to do that, we need to draw a section. You can either click the shortcut up here section, or you can use the shortcut key, which is SE. Click once here and click another time here. Move the view range to only cover the left RC tank. Press escape. Double click on the header to enter the view. If we zoom down to the bottom, you can see that this is the point where the scour pipe connection is supposed to be. So if you click on it and zoom in further, we can see that there is a connection indicator on the left and right. We're going to right click the right connector first. Click on draw pipe. Make sure that this is a welded connection. Zoom out, and we're going to model it about 800 mm to the right. Escape twice. Click on the tank again. This time click on the left connector and click on draw pipe. Click and click upwards. So we're going to repeat this step for the next tank. Sorry. If you're inside a view and you want to access the previously open view, press Ctrl Tab. It will bring you back to the view which you were previously on. So now I'm going to click on this section view and I'm going to move it over to the next tank. I'm going to enter the view and create the scour pipe again. Once that is done, Ctrl Tab to enter the plan view again. So the next pipe which we want to complete is the balancing pipe. So if you click on the left tank, you can see that the second connector is the balancing pipe. So if you right click on it, draw pipe again, draw this away from the overflow pipe like this, and draw until about here and click. Press escape twice to exit modeling. Now we're going to model the right side's RC tank's balancing pipe by right clicking, draw pipe, click, escape twice. So similar like AutoCAD, you can trim and connect these two pipes together. simply click on the first pipe. You can see this feature here, trim. Click on that, click on this pipe, and click on the other pipe to connect them together, and press escape twice again to exit the modeling. Now we're just gonna adjust our pipes a little to make way for the outgoing pipe. So the first ones which I want to move are my 2 overflow pipes. So I'm just going to draw a box selection to select these two. MV to initiate move. Click once on this edge and just move it in by, let's say, 300 mm. And I'm going to move my balancing pipe in by 200 mm. I'm going to move my incoming pipe away by another 200 mm. Now I'm going to model my outgoing pipe from the tank to the pump. So first I will need to model the header and the pipes coming out from the tank. So if I select the tank on the left, right click on the indicator here, draw pipe, and I'm going to draw it to about this length. Escape twice. Repeat the same for the right hand side. Next, I'm going to draw a header pipe across where the 2 outgoing pipes will connect to, but I want to be modeling it to be the same height as my outgoing pipe. So what I can do is that I can select this pipe, and I can see that the offset is 500 mm, and if I want to inherit this offset, I can simply create similar, which you can do by selecting this pipe, which I selected, and press CS, which is the shortcut key for create similar. Once I've done that, I'm going to change the diameter to 200, remain the offset at 500, and model a short piece of pipe crossed like this. Escape twice. Select this pipe, change it to a flange type, so that when I'm clicking on it and I want to insert some caps on the open ends, which is this button at the top, you can see that flanges are created on the left and right. So to finish this connection, I do not actually want to connect these pipes to the header physically. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to draw a temporary detail line, which the shortcut key is DL. Draw it across the header. Then I'm going to use the extend tool to connect these 2 pipes to the header by pressing EX, select this detail line, and then simply select this outgoing pipe and this outgoing pipe. Press escape twice. And next, I'm going to model the pipe connecting the pump to the header. So if you click on a pump and right click on this indicator, draw pipe, draw it to somewhere around here, escape again, change the size to 150, repeat the same for the right hand side, $150, and again using the extend tool, select the detail line and then select these 2 pipes, escape, and now I can delete this detail line here. Finally, the last pipe which I need to model are from the pump's discharge exiting the pump room. So to do that, I'm going to create a new section, SE, draw a section across here. Make sure the cut is just across the top connector of the pump. Escape. Double click the header to open the view. I'm going to extend the view region upwards until I can see the level 2 level. Extend this a little bit so that I can see the right wall of the pump room. I'm going to select the first pump. Right click this indicator, click on draw pipe, model it to an approximate height, let's say 3600 mm, and then out of the pump room. So if I have modeled a pipe and it is not in the correct pipe type that I want, what you can do is that you can select this whole pipe length and change it to the desired pipe type. So if you want to select this pipe length, just highlight one of the pipes. Don't click it, just highlight and press tab once to highlight the whole length, and now press left click to select the whole pipe. So what I can do now is that I can change type and change it to a flange type of connection. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for this right side by drawing a pipe, but before modeling I'm going to make sure that it's using a flange type of connection and connect it to the top pipe. Now I'm going to select these two pipes and make sure that the diameter of the pipes, I'm going to select the whole length of the pipe by using tab once, twice, thrice, left click to select. I'm going to change the diameters of this pipe to 100. Finally, I'm going to select my top pipe and change the offset to about 3 meters. Okay, that might be too low, maybe 3.5 meters. Then press Ctrl Tab again to enter back the plan view. So this finishes our piping modeling works for this pump room. Next, we're going to input all the valves into our pump room. So the first valves we're going to put in is the gate valves. So to insert valves, you can see at the top here under systems, there is pipe accessories, and on the right, click on the top, and to search for gate valves, simply click on the search word and type gate. You can see that gate valve threaded and gate valve flanged has appeared. So for now we're going to use the flange type, and we're going to use 150 gate valves for the pipes. So we click on that, zoom in. We're going to put one gate valve on the left incoming and on the right incoming, one on the left outgoing and another on the left on the right outgoing, one more for the balancing pipe, and we can enter this section view by clicking the header, and we want to put one more gate valve at the scour. So if you don't want to be clicking pipe accessories again, the shortcut for this is PA, and when you type PA, it will highlight the last valve that you put in, so it's convenient. So now when we come here, we're going to left click and put this valve here, and you can see that the size is different because our scour pipe is 200 mm. So press escape twice. I'm going to click on this valve, click here, and change the size to be 200 mm. So we're going to repeat the same thing for the left RC tank. Okay, once we've done that, the next valves which we need to input are for the connections to the pump. So the first one which we're going to pick is the lever butterfly valve. So PA, select here, I'm going to search for lever, and this is, the size of this is going to be 150, and I'm just going to put in one here and one here. And the next valves are the strainers. So click on this again, search for strainer, 150, and highlight this and put it in on both sides. Escape twice. So if you need to readjust the valve's positioning, you can click on it and you can see that there are these buttons here to rotate them, and this is to flip it. So in our case now, we just need to flip it so that it's facing downwards. Okay. Now the next valve which we need to input are the flexible joints. So PA again, click, search for flex, and select the 150 and just input this here. If you need to make sure that the lengths between the valves are to a specific distance, you can do that by inserting a line dimension. A shortcut for that is DI. So for example, if I click on this portion and this portion, I can see that the distance now is 317. Escape. If I click on this, then I can move it upwards by, let's say, 117 mm. With that, then my distance now has changed to 200 mm. But we're not going to do this for this tutorial. Finally, we're going to put in the valves to the discharge side of the pumps. So if you enter this view by double clicking the head, we will see the side of the pump, and the first one which you want to input is the butterfly valve again. This time the size will be 100, and we're just going to put it in. Escape. PA. Next will be the check valve. And finally the flex. So you might notice that for these valves, you can see that the flanges are actually created. This is because the pipe type being used here is steel threaded flanged, whereas compared to, if we enter back the plan view, the pipe type here used is steel threaded welded, which will not give you the flanges on each end of the valves. So this is up to your design. Finally, one more thing about the valves. If I enter back my this view, if I want the valves to face downwards, I can simply click on this one and click on this flip fitting button, and you can see that now the valve has faced downwards instead. So I'm going to do the same thing for this. If I want this valve to appear the other way, I can click on this to rotate it. Same with this. Now finally, I would need to tag my sheet view. So before that, I'm going to enter back my sheet which is CW05, and I can see all the views that I've created. But before that, I'm going to create an isometric view down here of this pump room. So how you can do this is that you activate this view by double clicking it, select all the items in this view like this, and this button here, selection box, what it does is that it will create a 3D view out of the selections you made in the plan or section view. So if I click on this now, you can see that they have created an isometric view of my pump room. So once I've done that, I want to view from the other angle. So what I can do is that I can click on the top left of this cube here to rotate the view like this. So the first thing I'm going to do to this view is that I'm going to lock it, save orientation, and lock the view. And with that, I'm going to name this as ground floor pump room dash isometric. Next, I'm going to hide this section box that was created by simply clicking it, right click, override graphics in view by element, and turn off visible, and click OK. So if I enter back my sheet view now, CW05, zoom out, scroll up, under mechanical 3D views, I can see ground floor pump room isometric was created, and I'm just going to drag it into this view. And since it's a bit small, I can just select it and change the scale to be 1 to 50. Zoom in, just readjust it, make sure that it's in the right place. So now I'm ready to start tagging my views so that the information of the pump room is all inside. So first one I'm going to go to is the plan view. I'm just going to zoom into it, double click it to activate. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pipe sizes into my my plan view. But before that, I just want to hide all my sections because it's in the way. So if you click and left click, select all, again right click, override graphics in view by element, you can hide it again, click OK. So if you want to put in your pipe sizes, go to annotate, there's a tag by category button, click on that, and you can start to input your pipe sizes. If you do not want a leader, you can actually untick leader here, and I can start to input my pipe sizes accordingly for the incoming, outgoing, header, balancing pipe, outgoing to the pump discharge. Next, I can start to tag the equipments and the control panel. So the shortcut key for tagging is TG. Then I can start to tag my pumps with a generic tag which we can change later on, and also my panel. Press escape twice to exit tagging. So if I zoom into my first pump and I select the tag and I click on it one more time, I can give it a name. I'm just going to give it a name of CW-TP for transfer pump -01, and I'm going to name the right pump to be CW-TP-02, and And for the panel, I'm going to select the tag, move it away from the panel, and I'm going to name it MCP-CW-TP-01. Just move it away. Zoom back out. Now we're going to insert some arrows to indicate the direction of the flow. So under annotate, symbol, click here. You can see that now we are using a direction arrow solid. So we're going to select that, and we're just going to put in the direction of the flow for the pipe. So when you highlight the middle and you press space, you can actually rotate the arrow direction. So we're just going to put in sufficient arrows to guide the reader on where the water flow is actually supposed to run. Next, we're going to put in another symbol, which you can search for here, called wave. Select it. The wave is just to show a cutoff for the pipes exiting the room and entering the tank. Next, we're going to input the dimensions to the plan view of the pump room. So DI to insert dimensions, and we're going to insert sufficient dimensions to show the room size. So if you encounter a situation like this where it wants to take the dimension from the center of the wall, highlight the edge of the wall and press tab once to select it. Left click to insert the first point. We're going to select the bottom of the plane, top to the edge of the tank, and to the other edge of the tank. Click once more in the blank space to confirm your input. So we also want another dimension, which is the room size. Same thing horizontally. And for the room size as well. And finally for the tank. Press escape to exit dimensioning. With all the dimensioning, your drawing might look messy, so if you want to half tone your dimensions, you can do that by make sure the view is highlighted, press VV to enter the visibility graphics override for this view. Under annotation categories, you can scroll down to dimensions, highlight it and select halftone. Press OK. You can see the dimensions are now more towards the background. So finally, the last thing we want to do is to put the tank details for these two tanks. So to insert a text box, you can go to annotate, text, zoom in here, click. I'm going to give this tank a name, RC suction tank 1. Space, my size is 3 meters by 3 meters by 4700 height. And you can insert the nominal capacity. You need to do the calculations, which would be 42.3 meter cube, while the effective capacity is 31.5 meter cube. Click away to complete your input. and then you can change it to a different family type if you want. Sorry, click on this and change the family type to have a box over. So I'm just going to copy this over to the right hand side with this copy function and change this to RC suction tank 2. So with this we have finished tagging our plan view. Now next we're going to finish tagging the other views, which are the front views and the isometric views. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to copy this text box over to the front view. So I'm going to control select both of them, control C to copy, double click away in the sheet view to deactivate the plan view, and I'm going to double click the front view to activate the view, and I'm going to control V once, and I'm going to left click to paste them, so you can see that the text box have been pasted over and I can readjust them. So the next thing I'm going to do is that in this plan view I don't need all the pipes to be displayed here, so if I select everything and there's a filter button here, I just want to filter out the selections for the pipe accessories, pipe fittings and pipes, and probably views as well. Right click it, override by element, and I'm going to hide these items. And if you can see at the bottom here, our scour pipe is sort of out of view. So what you can do is that you can select this view, make the crop region visible again, select the crop region, use this control to move it down so that you can see what you have to see, and after that you can switch off the crop region again, or you can leave it on if you want, but I'm going to switch it off for now. So with this now we're going to add a dimensionings to this RC tank. So DI is a shortcut key, and I'm just going to insert some dimensionings for now. If I want to input a dimension to the center point of this small opening, if I try to do it like this, it will only put it to the edge of the opening, which I don't want. So if you want to do this, you will need to use DL to draw a small detailed line. Zoom in, escape twice, DL again here, so that you can use these lines as your dimensioning reference. So if I DI, I can input the dimensions. So we will not be dimensioning the whole front view drawings here. You can do that yourself, but similarly like the plan view, you can VV again, annotation categories, and change the dimensions to halftone to make it fade to the background. If you need to indicate a sum pit, what I would do is that I would just use the detail line to draw a square to indicate the sum pit's dimension. So again, detailed lines are drawn by DL. Then you can select a rectangular box, and I'm just going to draw rectangular box here first. Then you can change the dimensions accordingly. In my case, if I'm making it 1700 versus 1 meter depth. Escape twice, and if I want to select the whole box, I can highlight one of the edges, press tab, and then left click to select, and use MV to move it. I'm going to move it here. I'm going to use DL to draw a small line across the two tanks. Escape twice, select this tank again, MV, select the midpoint which is represented by a triangle, and lock it to this other triangle. And with that, I can put on dimensions of my sump pit. Now finally, for our isometric view, again, if I activate this view and I want to start tagging the items inside here, so the first item which I want to tag are all the valves. So TG is a shortcut for tagging. Select the valves, just start to tag everything. After you've tagged this butterfly valve, for example, and it's overlapping, you can click on the move button below to move it away. Same thing with the strainer and the flexible joint. Tag the equipment. And I'm going to use a text box to indicate that this is the incoming pipe. The shortcut for text boxes is TX. Incoming pipe. Move it closer. And I'm going to name this outgoing pipe. I'm going to create one tag here to indicate the overflow pipe. Click it, use the rotate button to rotate it, and you can copy and paste, select this and copy and paste it here and readjust it. So if there are certain areas where from the 3D view you can't see what's happening below, you can make certain areas transparent so that you can actually see what's happening behind it. So I'm gonna select this header, tab, left click. I'm gonna highlight this outgoing pipe, tab, select, tab, select, control select to select multiple items, and to the header as well. If you right click, override graphics in view by element, there is this surface transparency which you can expand, and I'm going to make this transparent by 50%, so you can at least see the valves and the pipes running behind it. Finally, to end this, I'm just going to update my title block to have the correct information for this view. So for example, if I highlight this and I click on that, for example, if this is a hydraulic systems drawing and it's a sub domestic water systems, and the title of this sheet is water tank detail, and from here you can even change who drew this, and just for an example, just gonna update this and so forth. So with this, you know how to create this water tank detail, and you can use it to use this for your projects in the future.